And now the stage is yours.
So thank you, Filipa. Let's start this presentation on InstaText. The idea of InstaText is to help us to write like a native speaker. And by using artificial intelligence and language technologies, InstaText automatically improves our English text and creates recommendations, ideas on how to improve the content and make it more readable and understandable. Now, most of the team comes from academic environment. My background is in artificial intelligence. I've been involved in AI since 2005. When you think of artificial intelligence, maybe you think of AlphaZero, for example, the famous program that learned to play chess from like starting tabula rasa in one day to overpass the world champion and to play the strongest chess on the planet. Now, InstaText was in a way inspired by that, but it maximizes readability of our texts. So I've been involved in AI, as I said, like more than 15 years, and I was even nominated for the best PhD in Europe in 2010. But then I also have to say I didn't receive that award. We'll never know why, but it's quite possible that the thesis wasn't written understandable enough because there were several scientific contributions. And this is a common problem in academia. We have to communicate difficult concepts that are new to our audience clearly and effectively in order to be understood. And especially in academia, this effective written communication is the key to success. Now, several tools emerged, like spell checkers are in a way perfect, but they don't solve the right problem. Grammar checkers emerged, but they stick too closely to the original text. They don't offer enough suggestions, in particular for non-native speakers. And then there are translation tools that are better and better, but still text needs to be improved after we get them into English. So there was a missing tool. There is a missing tool in particular for non-native speakers. Now, in this recent book by Springer, 100 Tips to Avoid Mistakes in Academic Writing and Presenting, the authors from the reputable publishing and editing house argue that it's not vocabulary or grammar that will get your papers accepted. No, it's more about readability. It's about conciseness, and they propose the solution that the paper should be easy to read, should be easy to understand, and this is achieved by writing clearly, concisely, by carefully structuring not only each section, but also each paragraph and each sentence. We can imagine when we are reviewers, we are much more likely to provide constructive feedback to authors that write clearly. And if we can, or vice versa, if the paper is not nicely written, we will look for our way out, even subconsciously, and try to reject the paper, try to find the reason. So it's always good to write clearly. Now, there are several other aspects. For example, this is a book, Writing Your Journal Article in 12 weeks. Yes, when you are a young researcher, maybe you have 12 weeks at disposal, but later it's hard to find 3 days, consecutive days that you can devote to writing a paper. And this results in several papers being in a pipeline, maybe for months, maybe sometimes when there are authors from different fields, from different institutions, it could be even years. And another aspect is writing project proposals. Here are some slides from European Commission, and they're all about clarity, about conciseness. Try to be understood by the reviewers, because if it's not written perfectly nowadays in such strong competition, the chances of non-well-written proposals are really close to zero. And then there are students. Students are typically bad at writing, but their work can be really, basically any master thesis can result in a publication, even in a strong publication. But the problem is that students write poorly, and this results in sometimes being in dilemmas. Should I give technical feedback or should I correct the text? But if I don't correct the text, then the mistakes will stay there forever, and even the proofreader will likely not be so brave to correct everything. So a lot of time is spent here. And then, of course, are important emails. There are important reviews where we want to look good, teaching materials, and so on. And of course, we don't have access nor budget to for proofreaders for such texts, but also we need help in real time. So we would like to have a tool here. Yeah. Now, if I go back to writing process, because it's not immediately clear. Writing process consists of several stages. It's from writing the first draft to the very important phase of reviewing, then rewriting, and maybe revising, and jumping between these phases. In one word, editing. And this is the phase of writing where we want to write something more clearly, where we want to add more details, when we want to write something more efficiently in terms of space and effectively in terms of being clear and concisely communicating our ideas. Editing is the phase of writing that will get your paper or project proposal accepted. And only then there is final proofreading and some other corrections that may also be applied, but it's editing where we need help in real time, and it's impossible to have it nowadays because we cannot bother proofreaders all the time. It would be just too costly, and you don't have this real-time support. Yeah? So ideally, we would have a tool that would rewrite each of our paragraphs to the level of a native speaker who is highly competent, who is really excellent in written communication in English. And as the author of the text, we also want to retain some control over our writing and be able to accept or reject particular suggestions. And now we are already looking at a screenshot of InstaText that enables just that. So does it really matter? It does. We now have a lot of case studies that prove the acceptance rates to conferences rise significantly. They even doubled the number of papers or important papers in some institutions and so on. And especially now when it's becoming live again, hopefully it really becomes important to get accepted. Yeah. Now, here is one of our reviews. I will just make it more visible. This was a paper that was in pipeline for several years. Yeah. It was 50 pages in Word, poorly written, authors from different institutions. And so you always, when you took a look at that paper, you knew that you cannot finish it in 1 week. It's just too much. But then one day, when we had the tool ready, InstaText, we sat in front of a big screen and we started to improve paragraph by paragraph. And this was the review just 1.5 months later. All reviews looked approximately the same, but this one summarizes all of them. Like the paper is now more readable and clear, easier to follow, significantly help in understanding, and changes in terminology, text organizations, and more detailed information allow better understanding the overall message. It's not obvious often that without any more research work, you can publish a paper only by writing it better. And this is what happened here. Now let's take a look at the tool. So the tool is, as I said, it's based on a powerful technology that maximizes readability, and it needs just literally 3 seconds, something like that, to provide you a proofread text with clearly marked green words are the new words and red words are crossed out. So here I can draw your attention to the second and the third row. It's more connected between each other. This is typical non-native speakers English. Sometimes you're writing and you feel it just doesn't sound English, but if you don't find a solution in 5 to maybe 15 seconds, you move on and it stays there forever. Because no Grammarly, no proofreader would ever correct such things. But InstaText would correct this to is strongly interconnected, or in this particular case, tends to be linked. So the tool really helps you to communicate effectively, to write clearly, concisely, to produce high quality, efficient, and effective sentences, effective in terms of being understood. Yeah. Then it boosts productivity because we are now suddenly so much faster. If we spend maybe 20 minutes earlier without any help on a particular paragraph, not to mention the abstracts, then we can do here. I mean, sometimes it's a matter of seconds, sometimes it's 2 minutes, but it's so much faster. So then you can finish the paper in one piece. You can do it in one afternoon maybe, or maybe in 2 days instead of 2 weeks, and it's totally different. Yeah. And people also notice that they self improve, that they write better English, that they develop this feeling for how the text should sound. Now, more from the far, it looks like this. So like Google Translate, you put your text in the left field and press the button in the middle. After 3 seconds, you get this text on the other side, still in English, but now like from a proofreader, like from a professional proofreader who is not only excellent in English, but also understands your domain, because all academic domains are covered, and I will show you how you can add your own vocabulary into InstaText later. But the point is, this is not like tools like Grammarly, for example, where you click on particular word, make decisions what to accept without knowing what follows in the second part of the sentence or second part of the paragraph. No, here you have all the text in front of you, so you can really maximize readability and choose what to accept, what to reject in order to make it as best as possible. So like this professor suggests, when I read through the proposed improvements, I immediately understand how the text should sound. It's like a proofreader you can access at any time. Before showing you the video that presents how the tool is used, I will just point out a couple of functionalities that you can pay attention to. So, like in Google Translate, you have these buttons like clear text or copy text to clipboard. Like in MS Word, you have this tracking changes toolkit, so you can accept or reject particular suggestion. You can also accept all remaining or reject all remaining suggestions and move on. You can only read the new version of the text and have these new words slightly highlighted, so you can pay attention to them. Or you can accept or reject suggestions also with a mouse, where you can actually accept or reject a pair of suggestions. But that it's not only me talking. Let's see the video where a lady explains how it really works. Yeah. So let me.
Now the audio is not working, Matej.
Oh.
I think maybe at the beginning you can share again and click.
Yeah. Okay. I will have to stop the presentation for a second and restart it again. Now I understand what went wrong, but here we have it again. So we lost just a couple of seconds. Let me start the video once again. So yes.
Welcome to InstaText, your personal writing assistant. It will help you write better English in no time. Just paste or enter your text into the left field and send for improvement. You can revise all improvements with Tracking Changes Toolkit. Or review suggestions with a mouse click. You can hide or show text changes for easier readability. You can even edit the improved text manually. Let's change this word and this one. And let's delete this. Now let's finalize the improvements and copy the new text. All set. InstaText. Write better English.
Okay, so I hope you have the idea how the tool is used. Now let's check some common questions, like how is this tool different than Grammarly? Yeah, okay, everyone knows Grammarly because they spent probably way more than $500 million on ads already. But first, let me emphasize that the tool is based on a different technology that users actually, those users who use both tools, they say that these are different tools. So Grammarly will take care of grammar, but InstaText will really go deeper and show stronger ideas for text improvements and is capable of rewriting entire sentences or entire even paragraphs. So to maximize readability. So it's a different purpose, different tool. For example, Grammarly Premium sometimes says hard to read sentence, and it happens quite often to non-native speakers without actually giving suggestions how to improve the text. But InstaText will always come up with suggestions and also make it easy to understand in context, so you can actually see the entire paragraph, see what follows next, and with interaction with the tool, you'll be able to make your text really sounding well, really sounding good to native speakers. Yes, correcting grammar, correcting spelling, but much more, because it really goes into style and improves it the way we've never seen before. For example, why they call it Grammarly on steroids? Because perhaps you remember earlier, I showed you an example is more connected between each other. This is a typical text that Grammarly wouldn't correct. Or even if some parts of that are corrected, you have to click on it, you have to make decisions independently. So it's impossible to use Grammarly for maximizing readability of your text. It's a different tool, different purpose, but don't forget, for academic writing, it's the readability and understandability that will help you, not grammar or vocabulary or anything like that. Yeah. So, okay, you will find many reviews on the internet, on InstaText page or in Google reviews and so on. So let's keep this for now. To come back to this slide, when is InstaText used? Basically in all these phases, from drafting, so writing first draft. Now suddenly you have an idea, you just start writing and you iterate it to better and better versions. When you know what you want to say, you don't need to really think about how you're going to say it, because InstaText will turn your ideas into words and it will sound good and it will be understood. Yes, at the end, for final proofreading, it turns out that according to our questionnaires, no users ever seek external help for proofreading at the time of submitting the paper. They trust in the tool and they find it better than proofreaders. So this is one aspect, but to show you how important the editing phase is. Like proofreading the paper costs between maybe 80 euros to 250 euros, depends on the paper length, but editing costs between 300 and 1,000 euros. So it's far more expensive, and usually we cannot afford that help. And to remind you, it's not even in a real time. So we cannot iteratively improve our paper and so on. And for editing, InstaText is, like people say, a game changer. What do they value, the users from academia? I can improve my text interactively in real time. Of course, this is very important. I can express my ideas clearly and concisely. It helps me to improve acceptance rates and shorten the time to publication, especially at journals, because suddenly it's a big difference whether you are accepted immediately or you have to submit to another journal and so on. At institutes, they use it a lot for writing project proposals, of course, also the faculties. I told you about minimizing the costs. It happened that entire institutions shifted the budgets for external proofreading to the tool and still saved a lot of money. But it's also interesting that people found out that they can rewrite the text in a new and original way. So we had a story on National Institute of Chemistry. Some of our colleagues asked a researcher, actually the researcher told, I got my paper accepted in a journal with impact factor more than 10. And it was accepted immediately, and I was the sole author. And she asks, how is that possible? What did you do? And he says, I used, I can tell you in one word, InstaText. And we took a look. Okay, that was a paper that was actually a summary paper, a review paper. And these papers are usually very long. They cite a lot of sources. And of course, you need to rewrite the content then. But it happens often to our own papers as well. We go to conference, we're invited to a journal. We have to rewrite like the paper, add 30% of new material at least. And then, of course, we don't want to just copy paste the conference papers. We want to write it better, and we want to write it in a regional way, of course. So this is also one observation why the tool is useful. There are many case studies. Here, there are already graphs for 2021. They again increase significantly. Here, they basically double the number of Q1 papers, so very strong papers. And one of the observations was that suddenly they were able to involve master and PhD students in the process way more often because they just write better. So as a mentor, you immediately get better text initially, and it goes so much faster. And the lady here, she's a professor of English language, and she pointed out that the better you are at English, the more you benefit from the tool. So why? Because you are then faster with these exceptions and rejections, and maybe you can rewrite, you can edit, you can re-edit and re-improve and so on. So so it's not just for beginners. The better you are, the more you profit from the tool. So yes, also native speakers use InstaText. Basically, it's used all over the world, and it's the customers already come from 150 and more countries. So it's not just a proof of concept, it's one of the major tools out there. And especially probably number one tool at the moment for academic writing, because there is no tool that is really specialized in academic writing at this such a high level, being so strong to support academics all over the world. So let's read maybe one testimonial by a PhD student. So I find InstaText very helpful, makes me much faster in writing papers. I'm a perfectionist. Okay, we usually are a perfectionist in academia, and usually spend way too much time finding the right words and making sure that sentences are easily readable, even if the concepts are arbitrarily complicated. So yes, this is the point. We have to communicate difficult concepts that are new to reviewers, that are new to our audience, and it seems very easy to understand by us, but it's not to others. So this clarity is really crucial in order to be successful. So InstaText makes her life easier. She recommends it also to PhD students and researchers, whether they are native English speakers or not. And there are many reviews like this, and I hope it at least gives you an idea that it's worth trying out the tool for 14 days and see for yourself how it works. It's so easy. You just go to instatext.io. You can continue with the Google button, and immediately you can start using. So it's just so very easy. Now, I will just take a few seconds to check whether there are any questions, because I have some more explanations to give you to show you more details about the tool for academic writing. So I see currently no questions, Philly. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I don't. Maybe if someone has a question, you can just put your hand up. You can find this option like right down to the right, or just write it in the chat. Maybe we can give some just 5 seconds or 10 seconds if someone has a question.
So stay tuned. I have more to tell, but maybe if something's not clear up to this point.
Yeah, I see some people writing, I think. So is there any limit in text length?
Yes, in the trial period, it's limited by 20,000 characters, but this is enough to really try the tool. Now, overall limit, basically the idea is to have the tool unlimited, but of course there have be some sensible limitations for fair use. So it's a couple of millions per year, and yes, it's enough. Yeah, and usually if you miss some characters, just write to our support; they will gladly give you more, and so on. But usually more important from the perspective of academia is we all have some special words like argument-based machine learning. This is something we invented during our PhDs, and now I don't want InstaText to correct this into something else. So I simply say, don't change argument-based machine learning, and it will stay like this in all texts. Or sometimes it's a matter of personal style, like or personal choice, like here, time series prediction into time series forecasting. They are both correct. It's perfectly sensible to say time series forecasting in this sentence, not time series prediction. But maybe we use time series prediction throughout our article, throughout our book, and we don't want to like tell InstaText all the time, stop correcting this, it's really bothering. So you simply add this into a dictionary, stop changing this to that, and InstaText will not change it anymore. It will make it easier for you to focus on what's really important and to see what to correct and what to reject, because it's normal to reject like 10% of suggestions. Then another aspect is sometimes for non-native speakers especially, it's difficult to distinguish between UK and US English. Who uses college, who uses university, and so on. So it's not just adding that U or removing it. It's not just replacing S by Z or so. No, there are actually many words that are different. They do sound different to native speakers. And you can simply fix this and you say, let's choose the language, the dialect to be US, and my language, I want it to be formal for academic writing, and I won't have to worry about this anymore. And the important novelty is coming now in May. We actually already enable early access since March, but the official launch is going to happen in May, where we have InstaText at the moment of writing. So in all these web applications like Google Docs, like Gmail, Outlook on the web, then Slack, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, even Overleaf, for example. I will show you an example. So here you will be able to just select the text like a paragraph in Google Docs and invoke InstaText and correct everything right there. So not in a web browser, directly at the moment of writing. And just to remind you, you can upload a Word document to Google Docs and share it with co-authors. So it's really a pleasant way how to improve our articles when they're written in Word. It goes like this. Yeah. I select maybe an abstract. I upload my Word article. I am even able to share it with co-authors, and I can start improving this paragraph by paragraph. And usually InstaText is used like this, improving paragraph by paragraph. It's so much more pleasant than putting the entire text and working through the corrections. So it should be in a way fun and pleasant, because sometimes you can also then re-edit something, re-improve, and it enables you to write iteratively and to escalate your papers, to make them really to be proud of, and so on. Yeah. If you work with LaTeX papers, I mean LaTeX documents, then you can use Overleaf. It's very popular, and again, you can share it with co-authors. Students tend to like it, and again, InstaText is supported and enables you to be far more efficient and also effective by better communicating. So this is what I had to say. The tool is commercial, but the prices are so available to everyone. Basically, we want to enable everyone to use the tool. So just see the pricing on the internet or contact our sales team for volume discounts, because when you buy several licenses in as a group, they go down, and usually people buying groups, or even academic institutions, or even site licenses are available for entire institutions. So it's the best to connect with our sales team and talk to them. So if there are any questions, Philippa, I'll be glad to answer them.
Yeah, thank you, Matej.
Perhaps I can show you also one more video, 1 minute video on these browser extensions, because this is new and exciting feature, and people who already use it as early access users really love it.
Yeah, please go ahead. We have time, so I think that would be interesting.
Okay, so let's see one more video. It's new and exciting feature that is coming. Okay, so I guess we really covered everything, and just to invite you once more, go to instatext.io and register for free trial. It's free, so make sure that this is the tool that can really transform your writing. I think I can guarantee you that this is the most powerful tool on the planet for rewriting your text.
Perfect. Thank you, Matej. That was very, very interesting and very good. So first, I'm going to give the word to anybody that if you have questions or comments or feedback or anything, again, you can use the hand function there on the right, or you can just write on the chat, or you can just unmute yourself and tell us. So on the meantime, maybe they are thinking about questions or anything, Matej. Anyone can use it, right? And for us, like from the, we also, like if we would have, we would like a bulk, how do you say it? Like a group?
Yeah, like volume discounts. If you
volume,
buy
how many
a
people?
group,
Volume?
is I can even show you the price list. Is so and here are some limitations, you can ignore the text up there. It's more about pricing. So you can see that basically, what can we see here? If you buy like 25 licenses, it's already $71. I mean, it's really cheap if you improve one paper per year and get accepted, or it's already paid off. And usually people now notice that suddenly they don't publish one paper, they publish 8 because they're so much faster. They can focus on research, they can be more productive, and so on. So if you see that you have like 100 or more people, then it's sensible already to talk about institutional licenses, where you can buy a site license for the entire institution, and everyone, including the let's say, I mean, everyone within the domain gets access, and it's just so much better for everyone.
Perfect. And there are 2 models only. So either I use the free until 20,000 characters, or I use the paid version and I have all functions.
Yes, then you have all functions, and it's basically, if I go, maybe I can show you the page. You have everything here. So yes, it's easily accessible. The editor, you can take a starting tour here. You can check how to use it. You can even watch the video I showed you earlier, and you can read more about features. I told you how InstaText is different from Grammarly. I told you about the language settings and about the personal dictionary. You can read more about this. So if you need more pointers, you have the videos, you have the slides, you have more examples, so you can actually understand better what the tool is all about. And here are the upcoming browser extensions. If you want early access, write to our support. They will gladly enable you the test. So, but this is coming already in 2 weeks, so it's going to be there. You can read more about the ideas, like on iterative writing, for example, or so many ideas you get, how to communicate your ideas, for example. We really try to offer interesting topics here. And about pricing, yes, if you cannot wait for the institution to decide, you just go here and you can pick either monthly or yearly plan. It happens often that people just start to using, but sooner or later the institution buys, and then the price become even better, because as I showed you,
more people.
yes.
Yeah, well, in our uni, everything goes a little bit slower, but who knows? Maybe
Yes,
more and
so
more people
maybe
go and
first,
use it, and they have interest for it, and we can get a license on the uni or something.
yes, it's of course, when you buy a plan, you can already add like your institutional address and everything. You get invoice immediately, and this means that you can get reimbursed by the university and so on. So yes. So not to forget, InstaText enables you to write like a native speaker, and there is a website where you can really read a lot about what others have to say, and you will find a lot of testimonials all over the page, and they are all based on Google reviews. So they are real people behind that really can tell you just the same. Yeah. So invited, kindly invited.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you. Maybe I'm also gonna share. So I'm pretty sure everyone already went on the website, but I'm gonna share it anyways here on the chat. So you have the website, and I don't see any more questions on the chat, so I'm gonna start closing up. Thank you, Matej. It was very, very interesting. I don't know if the presentation
you
can send me later with some info,
I
and I can share with the
give you
participants.
the shorter version of the presentation.
Yeah.
You can find here, and I'll put it in the chat. So here is a PDF available with a few slides, so that you can get the crucial points. Yeah. And
that was very fast and efficient. Thank you.
Yeah.
So everybody, you have the website and you have like main points that Matej said today on the chat. And as we said, we're gonna put this presentation on our MediaTek so more people can access to this new tool. So I think if there are not any more questions, I don't think so.
Thank you everyone. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, thank you, Matej. Very nice to see you, see you, virtually see you, and I wish you everyone nice Easter, even if you don't have public holidays, Matej.
We have it on Monday, so
yeah, on Monday. So
luckily tomorrow is not a holiday because we have much things to do yet.
Nice. So happy working and happy Easter, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a nice weekend. Bye bye.
Bye bye.